Hey, what's going on, you guys?
We're back on.
Hey, and we're doing another matinee show today because we actually did manage to watch a new movie last night, and this was a real good one.
Yeah, it's good. I
liked this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It's not a horror movie.
Is there anybody waiting on there first before we get into
this?
this?
There was one or two people, I think,
so
before I hit live.
Okay. So probably not a big deal. Probably ought to just go ahead and go with.
Well, yeah, and like I said, it's like even if people can't watch it live, they can watch it later. And it's like I'm sure people that watch it later don't want to like sit there and listen to us yapping, waiting for.
Yeah, Bees Nest is on. We got four on there.
Hi,
all right, we got four on there.
What's up?
All
right. So the movie we saw last night, we just picked this completely and totally at random, just because the cover looked interesting.
Hold on. Zach says the audio sounds rough.
The audio sounds rough.
Did it go back?
No, I checked it.
It's on.
I mean, it should be all right. I don't know. I don't know if I can do anything about it.
How's it sounding, Zach? Not sounding good?
I mean, like I said, I put it on that, so.
Okay.
Whatever. I can't do anything about it now.
Yeah. All right. Well, as long as it's
I hear static.
I hear static.
Oh, I don't know what that.
Does everybody else hear static?
I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, they hear static too.
Weird.
Okay, hold on.
Audio sounds good from here, somebody says.
Okay, hold on.
Maybe it wasn't plugged in all the way.
How's that sound?
Is that any better?
Some people are saying it sounds good.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if it's just something to do with.
Might have something to do with the internet.
Yeah, maybe it's glitching out. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, can you hear it? I mean, is it okay?
Everybody's saying the same.
I don't know. Sounds the same.
I guess they mean the same. I guess it means it sounds bad.
And then Mango Batch says sounds good to me.
It's got to be your.
Maybe it's some kind of connection issue more than
kind of internet feed.
Yeah, because I don't think it's the mic. The mic is plugged in, and I made sure that it was because I know one time I forgot to check it, and it went back to the internal mic.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that in the beginning of the feed, the video looks real choppy.
Yeah, it lags.
It takes a few minutes for it to catch up for some reason.
Get its shit together.
So maybe it's just that.
Yeah, I hope that's all it is. I don't know. Maybe we should wait.
They say that they can hear. It's just not as good as usual.
Oh well, okay.
You can give it a few. They say it's still okay though. They can understand us. Okay, let's just get it over with. It'll probably sort itself out in a few minutes.
Yeah, sort yourself out.
Because a lot of times when we start streaming, even the video's kind of choppy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I don't know. It might. Who knows? It could be a million things. I'm sure it's some kind of weird technical.
We saw a good movie last night. It kind of reminded me. It was called Mope.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a mixture of what was the name of that porn movie? Boogie Nights, and kind of like Art of Self-Defense in a weird way. Instead of it being a dojo, it's a damn porn making,
like a real low rent,
real low budget porn studio. And it's based on a real.
This is a true story. It's a true crime, but
yeah.
This was a really interesting. It reminded me very strongly of Boogie Nights in the way that, not only is it set in the world of porn, but it was also, it really was kind of audacious in the way that it was like a comedy, but
also a tragedy.
Also really, really tragic.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in awe of the director of this movie because this seemed like a really ballsy, in more ways than one, a really ballsy movie because it seemed like such a sad, fucked up crime story to turn into essentially a comedy, but also
a true crime.
Also he pulled off the tragedy and the sadness of it as well too, without seeming like they were cheapening it or making fun of it or anything like that. Even though it is very funny, it's also really, really sad.
Rented it off of Xbox. It's brand new. It was $3.99 for standard definition, $4.99 for fucking HD, and it's worth every fucking penny.
I loved this movie. This was a really good movie.
I'd get it in HD just because it looks cool. And it's about this black guy and this Chinese guy who are mopes. And a mope is like a fucking bottom of the barrel porn star. They're like porn extras. They're like the dudes that do bukakis and shit.
Yeah, it's just like when they need like a whole bunch.
They need a whole bunch of dudes.
Like
They just get these random
penises.
motherfuckers. And evidently, they thought of themselves as the Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker of porn.
And they
thought of themselves.
They were really called that.
Yeah,
like, that wasn't just like bullshit.
They called them that, but there wasn't really much to the guys. You just got to see the movie.
Yeah, Zach says what was the true story is based on looked up Stephen Clancy Hall on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And that will give you. They also did an investigation discovery show on it apparently, although I couldn't find it for free.
Yeah.
Like because I was looking for it this morning, like see if I could watch it like on YouTube, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah. It's good flicks. How they met on a bukkake shoot.
Yeah.
And they became friends. And then they went to work for this really fucking shitty porn studio where they lived on site in the studio.
Yeah, it was like a big warehouse.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of other people living in it. And I'm not sure if all the girls lived in it, but I think all the Mopes lived in it.
Yeah, some of them did, I guess.
Some of them did, yeah.
Because some of them like did other things too, like other than being Mopes. It's like because the two guys, the guy's real name, the black guy was his real name was Stephen, like I said, Stephen Clancy Hall. But his porn name was Steve Driver. Yeah. And the other guy was his porn name was Tom Dong. Yeah. Even though I think his real name was Harold Wong or Howard Wong. I can't remember, sort of with an H. Yeah. But yeah, so
they started off getting kicked in the nuts. That's what their specialty was, getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, so basically, it's weird because, like I said, I looked up the real case like after this, and the movie actually does stick to the real case to a large degree. And but it just kind of like made it funnier. But the situation itself is, I guess, so funny, but also like kind of fucked up that it's like you can't like help but laugh at it. So it's like these two guys, basically, they're like in the beginning, it's kind of like an inspirational movie kind of way because these two guys are like basically like porn geeks. Like when they meet each other, like on this random like bukkake shoot. And they kind of like bond over their shared love of porn and their wish to be like the world's best porn star. They want to be like on the covers of the DVDs and everything like that. This happened in 2010, by the way. So you're almost kind of like they want to start their own business and they have all they're standing like over the hill in Los Angeles and looking at it's like, we're going to be the biggest porn stars ever. And you're like, yeah, you go, man. You know what I mean? Even though they, they're not, what you would normally think of as like being a porn star, you know what I mean? It's like they're kind of skinny and it's like apparently they don't have big dicks or anything like that. So it's like they kind of get, shit on by everywhere they go.
And they're not real creative either. They try to come up with these innovations, but they're just stupid as shit, man. They're fucking dumb.
Yeah, and it's like, but in an endearing way, because it's like you can see they want to do it so badly, but they don't really know what they're doing.
They're trying to come up with new shit, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's like that's kind of like I said, and I think that this movie did it really well because it's like you think that they came up with all these silly things like the dick and the hot dog bun and monster hands and like all
chicken hands
and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like you would think, but it's like the movie isn't really making fun of them. It's just kind of like showing how these were two guys who had a dream. They were just kind of clueless and they didn't really know what they were doing. And you kind of feel sorry for them because everyone is just telling them how much they suck. And the only job they can get is this like really low rent fucking porn studio called Ultima DVD, which I guess was a real studio. I don't know if it's still around. And they kind of like specialized in these kind of bottom of the barrel fetish videos like armpit sniffing and, get guys getting kicked in the balls. And, they had one guy whose name was Picasso, which, use your imagination. Yeah. So this is the kind of place
they had to clean up all the fucking scat and shit too.
That was another thing. Like they kind of let them be in some of the scenes, like getting their balls kicked and stuff. But then they also had to like clean up the sets afterward and all this other kind of crap.
And when they did have to perform and have sex, you just got to see it. You just gotta see.
Yes. So, but I will tell you, it's like this is much like Boogie Nights. This was a lot more explicit than Boogie Nights. Yeah. This is pretty much just all.
It's damn near X-rated.
Nudity. Yeah. And it's like they don't really show. It's not X-rated in the sense they don't show like erect penises or anything like that. But they show pretty much everything but that.
And you know what's going on.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
like they don't really try to hide it. Like one review that I was reading of this, which was actually a very positive review. This actually premiered at Sundance early last year, like January of 2019. But I think it only just came to like streaming maybe like a month or two ago because I hadn't seen it. Like,
yeah, they're asking what platform. I saw it on Xbox.
We read it on Xbox, which means you can probably run it on YouTube as well, I would think, and maybe Amazon Prime.
And it only had one review on it when we reviewed it, so it was new to Xbox.
Yeah,
but you said it's been streaming for a month or so, huh?
I'm not really sure when it came on there.
This is the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it on there like prior to this, but it was kind of down the list, and usually they put the newer ones up toward the top. So maybe it was just there and we didn't see it, because usually we just kind of scroll through the horror and sci-fi, but this one we were just scrolling through all the genres.
Yeah, I think it was new. I think it's only been there for a few days.
Yeah, but like I said, it premiered at a festival like a long time ago, like more than a year ago.
But I think it was new for Xbox.
Yeah, but maybe it only just got a distributor, because this really does seem like a movie. It's a great fucking movie, but it really does seem like one that is going to find it difficult to get a distributor, I would think, just because of the subject matter. And I mean, this is not a mainstream type of movie, not just because of all the nudity and all of the, disgusting shit that's in it, but also because it's a comedy, but then there's also a horrible true crime.
It's a low budget movie. It's shot very well. It has very good acting in it, really good storytelling. It's fucking hilarious. It gets tragic at the end, but then in the end, it's a story about friendship, and it's also
kind of way.
And it's also a story about mental illness.
Yeah, big time.
Because there's a lot of delusion involved with Driver. Okay, and in real life he had a history of mental illness, and he did weird shit.
Yeah,
which I don't want to fucking spoil the movie, but once he got something in his mind, he started to become very delusional about what his abilities were going to be. He had very unrealistic standards for himself,
which I think is what made him more sympathetic. But also, he was scary, but you also kind of like felt sorry for him because he just had he just started losing his grip on reality.
Yeah,
as he kept getting shit on. By the industry that he really wanted to succeed in, and he just kept like realizing that he wasn't going to be what he wanted to be, and then he just started. Not
only did he want to be a porn star at this time, he also liked kung fu and martial arts stuff, and he was big into that, which that factors in. He wanted to be a damn fighter pilot. He wanted to be all kinds of stuff, but he just, because of who he was and how he was and his mental issues, he was never going to be that. You know? And
I think that's what made it sad.
That's kind of the sad part of the movie.
I mean, other than
he had
the crime that happened, that was also really, really horribly sad.
He had really great ambitions, but he just didn't have the ability to cash in on that. And he couldn't get it done.
And he couldn't deal with that.
Couldn't deal with the fact that he wasn't going to succeed.
Yeah,
which I kind of understand. That it makes him very sympathetic.
It does,
because there's a difference between a dude who there's nothing to him and he just sits on the fucking couch. You know what I mean? That's one thing. This dude was actually trying. He was trying and failing. Yeah. Which, man, that's rough.
And it was it was heartbreaking. Yeah. And it's really a heartbreaking. And I'm not like excusing what he did, because that was super fucked up, but.
Yeah, he was like, mentally ill, though.
Yeah, you could see how, he wasn't a mean person. No. He just didn't have like I said, he didn't have a solid grip on reality. And people did try to help him. And they did kind of show in the movie. And I guess, his parents had actually tried to help him as well, because they knew that he had problems. But
he made mistakes that were just so basic. Yeah. You know what I mean? That any person with any kind of sense would know not to do with the kind of shit that he was doing. But that kind of that's what this movie is about. You know what I mean? They were interesting characters. They were kind of endearing, and they were also fuck ups. Yeah. And they were trying though. Yeah. You know.
Like I said, they had a dream. Yeah. But it's just they didn't have. Tom Dong, the other guy, he was actually slightly more successful. He was actually in some porno movies.
Yeah, and he could be an accountant, and he was a web designer. He actually could do stuff. Yeah.
In a way, he was just as delusional, but I think he kind of came to a point where he understood that it's like, look, this, you know, I want to do this, but I'm not good at it. So maybe I should just, you know, kind of, you know, find something else to do or do something that I'm better at. Or he seemed to, at some point, he seemed to feel like it was okay that it's like, you know, to be in porn, which is what he wanted to do, you know, if I have to be in these movies where women are kicking me in the balls, or, you know, I have to do this and that, then he was willing to do that. And so he had kind of come to terms with the fact that he was not going to be like the next John Holmes or the next Ron Jeremy or anything like that, which is what they wanted to do at the beginning. They wanted to start their own business. They wanted to do this and that and the other. But like I said, they just didn't really have, and I think there was a point too where, you know, Steve Driver was kind of, I mean, obviously he was becoming a liability because of his, you know, delusions. Yeah. And his anger issues, his inability to deal with, you know, rejection, his inability to deal with, you know, him not being able to get what he wanted.
Yeah. And no, he was not the Rudy Ray Moore of porn. No. Rudy Ray was very talented. He was just working with a very small budget. He knew how to, what you doing, Pook? And Rudy Ray had a small budget, and he knew how to make a very entertaining movie on a small budget.
Well, and
Rudy was actually pretty good.
He knew to like get film students who at least kind of knew what they were doing, like with lighting, and even though it wasn't, you know, super successful.
I wouldn't even call
from a technical standpoint.
I wouldn't even call these guys the Ed Woods of porn. Ed could actually get a movie done. They were even less than that. I think Ed Wood was a genius compared to these guys.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, at first they just wanted to be in porn. Yeah. And then when they kind of found out that it was harder than they thought, or you know, they weren't going to be able to hack it, then they kind of went in the direction, well, maybe we should start our own porn company. But they weren't real successful at that either, like you said, because they didn't have great ideas about how to film things. They didn't have, you know, they were very amateurish.
Yeah, they did not have the genes. They were not genetically endowed for porn.
That too. And like I said, they kind of got, you know, and I'm not saying there's, you know, there's fucking so many porn genres that pretty much anybody that looks like anything can like nowadays, but you're not going to be like a household name, obviously. It's going to be very niche.
They wanted to be on the covers of the porn, and they wanted to
get awards, and
they wanted to be female fantasies. They wanted to be female fantasies. Yeah,
they wanted women to have like posters of them on their walls. I'm like, I never met any woman ever in the history of the world that had a poster of a porn star on her wall. Yeah. I don't think I've maybe a female porn star, but never a male.
Very delusional thinking.
I can't even think of other than like the famous ones like from the 70s and 80s. I can't even think of a male porn star whose name I know off. Who's that one guy? Oh shit.
Ron Jeremy.
No, not Ron Jeremy. This guy was a more recent guy. Shit, man. I don't remember. Like, but I can't even like remember.
Women don't give a shit about porn.
Not normally.
They like their damn romance magazines,
but
the novels, the written erotica.
Like I said, women tend to like erotica more. Yeah. We've kind of talked about that before, because like I said, you can use your imagination and insert whoever you want to insert in there. And
male porn stars are only famous for men.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be
it's a gay scene,
right? And the thing is, when they do straight porn, it doesn't really matter what the dudes look like.
They're not looking at them,
because that's not who the dudes are. That's why like most of the women are hot, but the dudes are just like
they could be
maybe they're hot or maybe they're not. It's like it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So like I said, and they kind of showed that. I mean, I know that in this movie they were showing Ultimate DVD, which was kind of considered, even in the porn world, was considered like bottom of the barrel, like cheapo shit. And they were doing like weird fetishy kind of shit, like, you know, with fucking feet and everything, which isn't really that weird nowadays. But
well, this wasn't that long ago.
It was 2010. I mean, but still, I guess it was still back then considered maybe a niche thing, especially in LA.
Well, in LA, that was just considered to be bottom of the barrel, cheap porn. You didn't have to pay people much for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They didn't consider it to be edgy. They didn't consider it to be porn.
Yeah.
They considered real porn to have, you know, I'm talking about silicone sister on fucking level 10 with a fucking roided out dude on a fucking expensive set. That's what they consider.
Yeah, because they would rent like those big, huge, like,
they're having
houses.
Fucking pirate ships and shit, and they're set up like fucking
pirate ships.
Yeah, you know, I mean, fucking Pirates of the Caribbean theme and shit. That's what like the fucking top notch, high dollar fucking porn industry. They were making that. It was real mainstream.
Yeah.
Real mainstream, and everybody looked like a 10 or an 11.
And in this movie, it's like even in the opening scene, like where, you know, Steve Driver and Tom Dong met each other, you know, they met each other like on a bukkake set, like I said. So there was like one hot woman like laying in the middle, and then just all these like
ugly motherfuckers,
ugly, like nasty, like old men, like just standing, and they're all standing around in the room, like trying to like.
And she wasn't a 10 either, though. She was more like a 7.
Oh, you're so harsh.
She was. Go back and look. She's about like a 7.
I didn't really notice.
Yeah.
I thought she was.
No.
I mean, compared to like what
she was on,
looked like, she was.
In the porn world, she would have been maybe one step above a Mope. That's there, you know.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah. So seriously, like I said, now don't expect this to be like, you know, fun and laughs the whole way through. It is very funny. David Arquette is in this as he's kind of like a producer of like more like bigger or mainstream porn, and these two managed to like kind of wangle their way into like an audition or like doing a movie with him, and it doesn't go well, but so he's really funny in it too, and that's kind of like one of the catalysts that like makes them realize that they're never gonna like make it in like the main, you know, the major porn world, because it's like they don't have what it takes, and they just kind of think. And like I said, all I'm gonna say is monster hands and chicken hands.
It's just fucking nuts.
I laughed so hard, and it's like, but yeah. So like I said, it's kind of like Boogie Nights in the sense that, you know, a lot of it's fun and a lot of it's funny, but then like as it goes on, it gets like sadder and sadder and like more and more tragic. Yeah. And as I said, the director, whose name was Lucas Hayden, I just looked it up. That was like it's like a really audacious movie, because it's really hard to pull off a shift in tone that striking and still have it be a really good movie. And I have to say that this movie was, I think it was an hour and 48 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes. It flew by. Yeah. I mean, it seemed really short.
And the two dudes that star in it, I couldn't name them. I don't know who that is, but they did a great job.
Just the chemistry between them was so good.
I put this movie up there with like Art of Self-Defense. Although out of the two, I would watch Art of Self-Defense first. But this is a good movie too. If you like fucking Boogie Nights, you'd like this. If you'd like Art of Self-Defense, you'd like this. Yeah. It's similar kind of a tone as Art of Self-Defense, kind of. Yeah. Art of Self-Defense was a little bit drier humor.
That was like more of like a sarcastic or more like a black comedy. Yeah. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to say. Like, this is sort of, I would hesitate to say it's funny, because when we were like looking, because, you know, when you rent things on Xbox and probably on YouTube too, I don't remember, but it tells you like the title and how long it is, and then it'll say what the genre is. The genre on this one said other. Yeah. That's all it said. Yeah. And like, I was like, yeah, I guess they couldn't figure it out either, because it's like, it's ostensibly a comedy, but it's not a comedy, because it's funny, but it's like based on a horrible true crime, and it gets really sad, and it's like really, really tragic at the end, but it still kind of works.
It's one of the best movies we've rented.
I really, really loved it. I mean, I did. I mean, if you liked Boogie Nights and you're ready for there to be like these weird tonal shifts like that, which there were kind of in Boogie Nights too, because a lot of horrible shit happened in that as well, then this would be right up your alley. Like I said, it's almost like a porn film in itself. Like I said, there's not like erect dicks or anything like that. But there are some dicks, and it's like, it's pretty, you know, graphic. And
Zach's going, those are dicks in it? Oh, I got you, Zach. Every time that shit comes up,
I think there was one or two dicks in it, like not, you know, just kind of swinging around the background. But and the way they shoot it, I guess, kind of to get across how, you know, bottom of the barrel this particular studio was. It always looks like really unappealing and like gross and grotty and stuff like that. And like I said, the fetish shit that they're shooting, it's like, you know, them showing them scrubbing up like the poop after like the scat porn and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, so nasty. Like, that's gotta be like the worst fucking job. But it's like the people that live there, because they live there, and I guess some of the other like people that were in the movies live there as well, like in this big just warehouse complex where they had like all these little rooms that were sets and whatnot. And then they had these people living there like in bunk beds, like in little dorms, and they would, you know, you'd be in the movies, but then you would have to do other shit too. Like they had one person that would cook, and you'd have one person that like had to clean up the sets afterward, which has to be like one of the worst jobs ever, cleaning up a porn set after the fucking movie. Wow. But yeah.
Right. What's next? Anything else to talk about?
I don't think so. But yeah, it's like, if just seriously rent this movie, because this was like a surprise. We just kind of like chose it randomly.
I saw the poster of it, and the poster looked good. And when it said genre other, and then we saw,
I know that was intriguing.
And I just looked at the trailer, and we're like, oh, okay, yeah.
We watched the trailer, and I was like, that looks good.
So we watched it.
Because I was like, I for some reason I like movies about the porn industry. Like I said, because I love Boogie Nights. That's like one of my favorite movies ever.
It's a well written movie.
Yeah, like, hilarious and sad, and you'll just go through so many emotions. And like I said, another review I was reading, it said it's like, this is like the most fun and most like, soul crushing movie you'll see all year. You'll need a shower afterwards, but also it's kind of funny and terrible. But yeah, so seriously, seek it out if you're into that kind of stuff, because I just really loved it, and honestly, I'd watch it again today. Yeah. We saw another trailer too for a South African horror movie.
Yeah, it looks good.
That actually looks really good. Maybe we'll do a matinee on that on Wednesday.
All right.
Because maybe we can watch that tonight or tomorrow. Because that looks pretty kick-ass too. But yeah, so I guess we'll wrap it up, since it's just like a little movie review. Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming by. And we'll talk to you guys again. We'll probably do another live stream on Wednesday. Like I said, we'll probably review another movie. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, come on. Hopefully the